Let's walk through a systematic review from autism research by Besse et al. On cognitive and cerebral aging in autism. I'll use it as the spine of the talk, pulling in supporting studies it covers, including several from the Torenvliet group in Amsterdam, who account for a meaningful share of this literature. The global population is aging fast, and with autism prevalence around 1%, we're looking at over 21 million autistic adults over 60 within decades. Yet older autistic adults make up less than 0.5% of autism research. This matters clinically. Autistic adults carry elevated risk for Parkinsonism and early onset dementia. So how cognition and the brain actually age in autism has real weight. The field organizes this around 3 hypotheses from Gertz and Vissers. Accelerated. Autism adds risk on top of normal aging. Parallel. Autistic and non-autistic adults age on the same trajectory, even with a baseline gap. Safeguard. Early compensatory strategies pay off later, slowing decline. Every study today gets filed into one of these 3 buckets. This is a clean Prisma-style review, just over 1,000 records narrowed to 73 full-text reviews, ending with 36 included studies. They split the literature into cerebral functioning, structural and functional brain measures, and cognitive functioning, processing speed, executive function, working memory, episodic memory. 8 studies covered both. Here's the key methodological point. Most studies are cross-sectional, comparing different age groups at one time point. That can't show a true trajectory, since cohort and survivor effects confound it. Only 3 studies are longitudinal, and when the same group ran both designs on the same data, conclusions sometimes flipped. Brain structure findings are genuinely messy. Cortical volume goes in different directions by region. Cortical thickness is mostly similar between groups. Hippocampal volume is the striking case, similar cross-sectionally, but the one longitudinal study found steeper decline in autism over 2 to 3 years. Exactly the discrepancy I just flagged. Processing speed is cleanest. The longitudinal study found parallel decline over 6 to 10 years. Executive function splits. Inhibition and planning look parallel. Updating and flexibility are inconsistent. Working memory. Visuospatial WM is lower in autism, but that gap doesn't widen with age. Episodic memory is the most fragmented, depending on verbal versus visual and immediate versus delayed recall. This is the strongest longitudinal evidence in the review. 240 adults, ages 24 to 85, followed across 2 or 3 time points, roughly 3.5 years apart, across 15 cognitive outcomes. Reliable change indices and multi-level models both converge, clear decline over time, but no difference in the rate of decline between groups. Bayesian analysis gave strong evidence specifically for the no difference model. Don't oversimplify to everything is parallel. A cross-sectional replication from the same group confirmed lower theory of mind and verbal fluency in autistic adults. But those gaps didn't change size with age. More notably, an earlier protective pattern for working and visual memory was not replicated. Protective aging claims may be more fragile than they appear. 5 culprits. Study design, cross-sectional versus longitudinal, diverge even within the same dataset. Sampling bias, mostly average or higher IQ, later diagnosed adults, missing the most affected. Measurement choices that can flip conclusions. Co-occurring conditions rarely modeled separately, and cognitive reserve factors that are inconsistently measured. If forced to bet, parallel aging is the best supported pattern, but qualified. Longitudinal data leans parallel with isolated accelerated signals. Cross-sectional data leans parallel to protective, but is less trustworthy. Honestly, the headline isn't a hypothesis, it's that we lack enough longitudinal representative data to settle this. Discussion question, given the sampling limitations, is, does autism accelerate aging even the right frame, or should we reframe toward heterogeneity and individual trajectories? I'll stop there.